Hi everyone and welcome back. We are looking forward to the CONCACAF W Gold Cup to be played next year in February and March. It is a Pan-American tournament combining CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, so we're going to see a wide range of teams. And now that the draw happened just a few days ago, we have a much better idea of how the group stage bracket and the teams participating are going to look. So let's get into it. Okay, let's jump into Group A. We have the US, Mexico, Argentina, and the Prelim 3 winner, which is either Guyana or the Dominican Republic. So we have two World Cup teams here, the Argentina and the US. Both didn't do very well in that tournament, so this might be a chance for redemption for both. I think for the US specifically, this is also an opportunity to prepare for the Olympics because they're using this December camp and the China friendlies to try out a bunch of new players. But as you approach Feb and March, approaching those Olympic months, we need to solidify the team. And this is a great opportunity to see who really sticks and who really fits in. As for Mexico, we haven't seen them on the international stage too much because they failed to qualify for World Cups, but I think this tournament is an opportunity for them to make a statement because if you look at how well they've performed this year, they're unbeaten, but it's all against smaller CONCACAF teams. So now that they're at that level where they're dominant in that domain, can they step up and take on teams like the US, Canada, Brazil, and really make a name for themselves? Okay, so for predictions, I'm going to have the US and Mexico here. I think it's very likely Argentina takes the third spot and still makes it into the quarterfinal, but we will have to see. Let's move on to Group B. We have Brazil, Panama, Colombia, and the Prelim 1 winner, which is either Haiti or Puerto Rico. If Haiti wins this as the number one prelim seed, this is going to be a completely World Cup group. Panama and Brazil were even in the same group in the World Cup. So I think this is going to be very challenging. But I have to take Brazil and Colombia here. And the reason for that is because Colombia had so much success at the World Cup. And I think they're looking to not be a one-hit wonder. They're looking for consistency over the next few tournaments and to solidify their spot among top teams. And this is the first opportunity to begin doing that. Let's jump into Group C. We have Canada, Costa Rica, Paraguay, and then the Prelim 2 winner, which is either El Salvador or Guatemala. I think Canada has a good chance of topping this group, not just because they're the top ranked out of these teams, but because they've ended the year strong. They've played some high-level teams, which is more than even the U.S. can say, and they ended the year with a 5-0 win and a 1-0 win against Australia. As for the other teams in this group, I'm not actually very sure about any of them, but looking at their records, we see that there's some teams that you would have expected them to be that they didn't, but then teams that you didn't expect them to be and they did. So I think that we're going to see a lot of duking it out for those second and third spots between these teams to see who can show up at this tournament. Canada also is playing their first tournament without Christine Sinclair, who has been a huge part of their identity for years now. So let's see who can step up in this tournament and lead them, maybe even into a final. Okay, so final predictions. I have to back the US for this tournament. I think that during this rebuild phase, they're going to be taking something like this very seriously as an indication that the US hasn't lost its dominance on the international stage with women's soccer. I do think that Canada and Brazil are close seconds. They've both actually played each other this year, which gives us a good indication of how they might fare at this tournament. For the US, if they go out guns blazing, they secure first spot, I think they have a much cleaner path into the semifinal. And if they can get past that hurdle, they're into a final, and they have that clear shot at the title. Okay, so finally, some overarching thoughts I wanted to add. I think that the prelims concept is interesting. It adds this level of unpredictability, having these 6 teams duke it out for 3 spots, and then the people in the groups not knowing who is going to be there till right when the tournament starts. Very interesting concept. The second thing I think is pretty interesting is the idea that we have the top 2 in each group going through, as well as the best third place teams. And the reason this is kind of interesting is because we have a 1 to 8 ranking for those quarterfinal spots, which means that you're kind of ranking teams across groups This might make the goal difference tiebreak metric, as well as the goals for tiebreak metric, even more important if you're doing something like that. So I'm interested to see how maybe people's approach to the games change when they know that they need to be scoring quite a bit to distinguish themselves from other people across groups. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed my early prediction and review for the CONCACAF W Gold Cup. I will obviously be updating this later next year after we see some early year friendlies and how they might have some bearing on the tournament. So please subscribe so you're updated for that, and I hope to see you next time.